I've been waiting this whole time for a firmware update that will say Auracast enabled, and I've got some answers for you. And Philips is in the same boat. We have these brand new hearing aids. We all thought they were going to have Auracast eventually. One of you guys, or a few of you guys, have actually called Rexton and asked him, hey, what's going on with Auracast? Are we going to get it? Hey guys, welcome back to the Hearing Club. My name's Brian. I'm a licensed hearing aid fitter in Pennsylvania. I do hearing tests, I fit hearing aids, I program hearing aids, and all that wonderful stuff in between. I even do real ear measurement, which is pretty cool. Been fitting hearing aids for a long time, and well, what can I say? I love it. It's a good job, get to help people. I work at Costco, so my job is to give you guys all the info that I have on new emerging technologies when it comes to hearing aids, help you with hearing aid issues. I do some reviews, all kinds of stuff. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Rexton Reach hearing aids, okay? And specifically, what is going on with this Auracast feature that we were supposed to have? We thought it was going to have Auracast. We were expecting it to have Auracast, but we don't have Auracast yet. And I've got some answers for you. And Philips is in the same boat. We have these brand new hearing aids. We all thought they were going to have Auracast eventually. Still no Auracast. Right now, the only hearing aids that I've personally tested that have a working version of Auracast are the GN hearing aids, the Jabra, Beltone, and these beautiful red Resound Vivias. All right, so some of you have left a couple of comments. Actually, a lot of you have left comments, but one of you actually claimed to have reached out to Rexton and they told you there is not going to be Auracast in these hearing aids. It's not going to be available. And I don't doubt that they told you that. All right. After the phone call I had with them, I don't doubt they told you that one bit. So I did reach out to them and I've got some information and we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to do the same thing with Philips. I'm going to get a hold of Philips tomorrow, actually. Or no, tomorrow's Sunday. So Monday, I will get a hold of Philips. But first, what is Auracast? All right, for all you folks that don't know what it is, but you keep hearing about it and seeing stuff about it, Auracast is a really, really great emerging new Bluetooth technology. Bluetooth keeps... There's so many different iterations of Bluetooth, and I plan on doing a whole video covering this stuff because it's very confusing. There's different versions, there's just different types of Bluetooth. But first, let me explain what Auracast is, and we'll get into all that in another video. You know, the coolest thing about Bluetooth and hearing aids is you can use your phone to control your hearing aids. Any hearing aid you buy pretty much has the ability to connect to the phone, and you can control the volume. You can control the microphone directionality and all these great things. But if you have nicer hearing aids, any prescription hearing aids, and some of the nicer over-the-counter hearing aids like the Elehear Beyonds, the Lexi B2s, and the Sennheiser OTC hearing aids, you can stream with them. So when you get a phone call, you can answer the phone and the audio goes through the hearing aids. It makes phone calls so much easier to follow because you have a direct input. The audio is going directly into the hearing aids. Well, with Auracast, what it enables and allows you to do is you could tap into an audio source wirelessly that's not coming from the phone. It could be coming from somewhere else. So let me just give you an example. This is the Flugu Auracast transmitter. It's called the FMA120. I did a video on it. Check it out. And this is the home spot. I think it's the BA210 version 2. And you can get this on Amazon. And basically, you can plug this into your computer. You can plug this into your TV. You can plug this into your church audio system. They're going to have them at airports, maybe even movie theaters. You can plug this into the TV at the bar, okay? And what this does is whatever you plug it into, it will send the audio to everybody. It will broadcast it, okay? So that anybody in the area, as long as you're within range, you can tap into that audio source, you can tap into that Auracast broadcast, and you can listen to the audio in your hearing aids, in your headphones, as long as they support Auracast. So it's really cool. So imagine, you're at church and you're having trouble hearing the sermon. You've tried sitting in the front, you've tried sitting in the back, and you can hear the preacher, you can hear the pastor, you can hear the priest, but you just don't understand what they're saying. You're missing a lot of words. Okay, well, that's because the sound's coming out of a speaker and it's going through these filters, and you might have bad acoustics in the room, whatever. But imagine every word that he's saying or she's saying is going through the hearing aids. I wear hearing aids. So when I'm wearing my hearing aids, okay, and I'm at church, I can sit down, I go on my phone, I hit connect, and I can connect to the church audio system. And everything that the pastor is saying in the microphone, on the podium, everything he's saying can go through my hearing aids like I'm using these as headphones for the sermon. Okay, the audio comes out of here, right into your ear. It's amazing. And the cool thing about it is it is crystal clear. It is such good audio quality. It's not garbled. It's not muffled. It is crystal clear. I could turn it up or down, and I can hear every single word that preacher or pastor is saying, and it's amazing. Now, here comes the confusing part, okay? And I'm going to do a whole video breaking all of this down in my style, the way I do, so that you can understand easily, because it is very confusing. But I'll give you what pertains to this video. Okay, so Rexton Reach. So let me see. I've got some notes here. So in 2020, a new Bluetooth technology was developed, a new iteration, and it is called Bluetooth LE audio, okay? And Bluetooth LE audio is a newer Bluetooth iteration that's created for transmitting audio, okay? And this is different from Bluetooth low energy. That's where it gets crazy. Bluetooth low energy, that would be LE, right? Now, Bluetooth low energy was developed in 2010, a long time ago, but in 2020, we have something called Bluetooth LE audio. Don't confuse that with Bluetooth low energy. I did. LE audio is completely different than Bluetooth low energy. Bluetooth low energy is old. Bluetooth LE audio is new. Even though it has the same two letters, completely different. Bluetooth low energy was originally designed for wireless data transfer, connecting to stuff, okay? And they have kind of hacked it and modified it, and they figured out a way for using Bluetooth low energy to also do audio. But I'm gonna save this for another video. With Bluetooth LE audio, this new version of Bluetooth, again, developed in 2020, came some really great features. Very low latency, higher sound quality, lower power consumption, and all kinds of things. And so that sounds great to put in hearing aids, right? Well, they did. And another feature of Bluetooth LE audio is Auracast. Here's the thing that you guys need to understand. If you have Auracast, you have Bluetooth LE audio. But if you have Bluetooth LE audio, you might not have Auracast, just like my beautiful red Resound Vivias. These have Bluetooth LE audio. That's what it uses for the streaming. And it also has Auracast. GN has developed these things to be able to search for an Auracast broadcast and connect to an Auracast broadcast. Since these are the same thing as the Jabra Enhance Pro 30, those also have Auracast. So if you have the Jabra Enhance Pro 30, you can search for and connect to an Auracast broadcast. And the Belltone Envision. And the previous generation of GN hearing aids. The Resound Nexia, the Jabra Enhance Pro 20, the Belltone Serene, those also have the ability to scan for an Auracast broadcast. So if you have the latest and greatest GN hearing aids, whether it's Belltone, Resound, or Jabra, you can go to church, if your church has one of these devices, and you can connect to their broadcast and get all the sound directly through your hearing aids, and it's great, right? Well, that brings us to Rexton, okay? Rexton hearing aids, which are WS Audiology, same thing with the Signias, True Hearing, they're all the same, Miracle Ear. And the Demont hearing aids, the Philips 9050s, Oticon Intent hearing aids, these also all have Bluetooth LE audio, but they don't have Auracast yet. So when the Rexton Reach first came out, one of the great things about it, because GN was the first to develop the hearing aids with LE audio and Auracast. I'll just use Costco as an example. The Jabra Enhanced Pro 20s came out. They had LE audio, and they were going to have this Auracast thing. It was going to be really cool. And but at that time, that was the only hearing aid at Costco that had this new Bluetooth technology. And then the Philips came out, and then the Rexton's new hearing aids came out. And one of the coolest things about those is they also were going to have LE audio. And I think I and many others assumed that with LE audio was going to come Auracast, but that might not be the case. Again, that's where it gets kind of confusing. Just because something has LE audio doesn't mean it's going to be Auracast ready or have a working version of Auracast. And that's what we're dealing with today. It's taken a long time to get to the point, I know. All right, here we go. So when the Rexton Reaches first came out, they basically told us, here's the hearing aids, enjoy them, they're great, they've got the new motion sensors, etc., but they don't have LE audio yet. Okay, the LE audio is going to be enabled, I guess. It's so weird. I don't get it. This is so confusing. GN, boom, right away. Rexton, Philips, who knows? The way I interpreted it was the hearing aids had Bluetooth LE audio right away, but it wasn't ready for Auracast yet. The Auracast feature wasn't going to be available until they came out with an update, or firmware update. But it looks like that's not the case. Looking through the firmware version history, you can see here that there's a couple firmware updates, like version 25.0.805, firmware release supporting the Rexton Reach platform. Okay, great. And then another firmware update, version 25.0.854. This update will improve firmware update stability and Bluetooth power on stability. Okay, great. And then we got another update, version 25.0.902. This update will improve connectivity, stability, and fix minor bugs. Okay, great. And then we got the big one, version 25.5.972. And just to clear up the confusion, guys, I'm going to explain all this. This release introduces Bluetooth LE audio for Reach hearing aids with Bluetooth. This update also provides continuous improvements and is recommended for all Reach hearing aids for optimal user experience. So first of all, if you guys have Rexton Reaches, go make sure you've got the latest update, firmware updates, okay? Because this is important stuff. Again, I'm going to go into all this in a lot more detail. This is going to be a must-watch video for anybody that's confused about, low energy, LE audio, Bluetooth Classic. I'm going to break everything down. You got to watch it. But what I want to tell you guys about this LE audio update is it's not for nothing. You do get a lot of great stuff. Even if we don't have the Auracast yet, this LE audio update is huge, and the Rexton Reach does have it. Number one, I made a video about the Flugu. Watch it. What this does is it lets you take advantage of your LE audio using something called Unicast. Unicast is a new Bluetooth connection that's possible because LE audio. It allows you to take these prescription hearing aids and connect them to basically whatever you want. Before, they were completely locked down, all right? These prescription hearing aids make you purchase their proprietary devices like the TV streamer. You can use the multi-mic, these are like $200 to $300 devices. And if you bought these devices, you can connect to your computer. You can stream from your computer finally, but it's proprietary. That device will only work with this manufacturer. Well, with this Flugu device, using LE audio, because of this update, you're able to connect to your computer and stream. You could stream your Microsoft Teams calls, your Zoom calls, FaceTime. You can listen to YouTube videos, watch the news from your computer. I mean, it's really great. So this update is a big deal, and I'm glad we have it. It's just not exactly what we expected. Another thing with LE audio that I'm going to dive into with this new video is the Bluetooth connection. If you use the LE audio option, like when you connect to your Android and you turn on the LE audio option, you're not using that old Bluetooth connection. No more constant dropouts, no more having to restart your phone because the hearing aids are disconnected again. No more crappy sound quality. It's great sound quality. You know, now you can put your phone in your pocket and the Bluetooth doesn't start going in and out. I mean, it's crazy. It is so much better. But guess what? You can't use LE audio on the iPhones. This is only possible with the Androids. So if you want to take advantage of this great LE audio and all these great features, you have to use an Android that supports LE audio. Yeah. Pretty crazy. So iPhones are no longer the best phones to use with hearing aids. It's now Android, and we'll get into that in another video. Anyway, back to this video. And I assumed, and forgive me guys, I thought this meant that they were going to have Auracast with this update, but that's not the case. So before Bluetooth LE audio, the hearing aids were using Bluetooth Low Energy, or BLE. This is an older version of Bluetooth, but it was never designed for audio. That's why you had constant dropouts, constant disconnects from the phones, bad sound quality. You guys all know as well as I do, you could be listening to a podcast or listening to a YouTube video, and as soon as you put your phone in your pocket, it was so unstable that, you know, one of the right hearing aid may stop streaming or the left hearing aid may stop streaming. That's because you were using Bluetooth Low Energy. It was never designed for audio. They basically hacked it and came up with this MiFi protocol that allowed audio to be sent in chunks, okay, or packets, small little chunks, and that's never how it was designed to work. They just kind of made it work, okay? They jimmy rigged it. They were just kind of winging it. They made it work, and it was okay, you know, but it wasn't very good. And so before this update, that's what the hearing aids were using for the Bluetooth. And then they came out with this update, and now it's using Bluetooth LE audio, which is again a much better version of Bluetooth. And myself, along with all the other folks that got the Rexton Reaches, we're expecting sometime in the future to get this Auracast update, this Auracast firmware update. I thought this was it, but it's not. Remember, Auracast is just the ability to connect to an Auracast broadcast. And you can't do that with the Rexton Reach. You can't use Auracast. I've been waiting this whole time for a firmware update that will say Auracast enabled, but it hasn't come yet. One of you guys, or a few of you guys, have actually called Rexton and asked them, hey, what's going on with Auracast? Are we going to get it? And they have told you no, it is not going to have Auracast. The Rexton Reach will not have Auracast. And so I said, that doesn't sound right. That can't be true. So a couple days ago, I called Rexton. I called Rexton Audiology and I spoke to one of Rexton's audiologists, 2 of them. I'm so sorry, guys. It is so hot today. All right, so I called Rexton and I called Philips just like I said I would. This video was supposed to be out days ago, so I figured, you know what? I'll knock out both brands with one video. I called Rexton and then I finally talked to a Philips audiologist. So we've got some info. And I asked the audiologist, look, when is the Rexton Reach going to have Auracast? When are you guys going to do the update? And she basically had no idea what I was talking about, or it sounded like she didn't have any idea. Like she didn't even know what Auracast was. That's the sense that I got. So I explained to her what Auracast was, blah, blah, blah. You can tap into a stream. And after explaining everything, she still just said she doesn't know. And all she kept saying was that they have LE audio. And I said, I know they have LE audio. I get it. We understand what LE audio is, but with LE audio is another feature called Auracast, and we're just waiting for an update. She said she had no idea. But they have LE audio. She was very adamant that they have LE audio. And I said, well, you know, there's a lot of members, patients that are asking about this Auracast update and when it's going to be available for the Reach. And a lot of these folks chose the Rexton Reach because they were going to have LE audio and Auracast. So I asked her this very specific question. I said, well, if we get members that are shopping for a hearing aid and they want to use Auracast, they mention Auracast, can we tell them that, you know, go ahead and go with the Reach, it's going to have Auracast eventually, or should we just direct them to the Jabra, you know, a hearing aid that has a working, verified working Auracast feature? And there was just silence, just dead silence. And I said, okay. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was trying to figure out, did she really not know what Auracast was? Does she have no idea what this is? Or was she just kind of like avoiding the question and didn't want to say anything? And I really don't know. And guys, trust me, I tried every way possible. I tried every angle, tried probing to get as much information as I could and got nothing. So at the very end, she finally said, look, we have no plans for Auracast. She said, we're always innovating, we're always developing new technology, and, you know, who knows what the future holds, is basically what she said. So I said, okay, no problem. So today, before I called Philips, I decided to call again. So I talked to a second person. And right off the bat, this audiologist knew what Auracast was. And she said, without any hesitation, no, we're probably not going to have anything until they're talking about like 2027 is what she said, with a new device. So there you go. I don't think we're getting Auracast with the Reach. I hope we do. I still think there might be a chance, and I will let you guys know the minute I find out. And I'm really sorry, guys. This sucks. I know it's not what you wanted to hear. Now, I called Philips right after. This phone call was about 20 seconds long, and yeah, the Philips 9050s are getting Auracast. So we'll see. We'll cross our fingers. Again, I'll let you guys know any updates I find. So Rexton Reach, probably not. Philips, yes, we're going to be getting Auracast soon. So there's some good news for you folks. If you guys want to use Auracast, get the Jabra. It works. It's absolutely wonderful. It's got great sound quality. There's no delay. The range is amazing. It uses very low power, so it doesn't drain your battery. And it's really great. So go get yourself some Jabras or Resounds if you want to use Auracast. And it's worth changing hearing aids, in my opinion. You know, GN was the first hearing aid was the first manufacturer that came out with a Marie receiver, which doesn't do much, but hey, at least they're innovating. It's new. They're the first ones that had a working version of Auracast. They're the first ones that came out with the micro RIC form factor, the smallest hearing. Look how small this thing is. I mean, it is tiny. GN hearing aids are just awesome. I love them. I have them. I use them. I wear them. I've been working with GN hearing aids for a very long time. And the noise reduction, it can't be beat, guys. The noise filtering can't be beat, in my opinion. This is my opinion. All right? They're not paying me to say this. So that's the update on the Rexton Reach and Auracast. And let me tell you guys something about the Rexton hearing aids. Remember when I did my Rexton Reach update? And, you know, one of the big problems with the Rexton Bicores was the Bluetooth connectivity to the app. I'm going to be honest, it was terrible. But all those hearing aids at the time had Bluetooth connection issues. And I'm going to dive deeper into this when I do my Bluetooth video. I'm going to go over everything. You guys are going to learn a lot. It's going to make a lot of stuff make sense. It did for me. And it is a must-watch video. I'm putting it all together right now as we speak. You guys have got to see it. All these Bluetooth connection issues and all these disconnects and bad sound quality, and you know, you put the phone in your pocket, Bluetooth starts cracking up and becoming spotty. This is all because Bluetooth low energy. It was never designed for this. It is old technology. The reason they used Bluetooth low energy is because it was less power hungry and they can make small hearing aids, but they had to sacrifice sound quality and connection stability. So it wasn't, I don't think it was really Rexton's fault. It just seemed to be the worst out of the bunch. And with the new Rexton Reach, since it has LE audio, all that stuff has been fixed. If you use an Android, the iPhone still uses Bluetooth low energy. I forgot to tell you guys that. In this video on the Bluetooth information and which phones are now the best for Bluetooth, it's Android. You guys are going to be so mad at me for saying this, but it's true, and I'm going to explain it all. And I just want to say a couple things about the Reach itself. When I first tried the Rexton Reach and I made that video, and I stand by this, it is the best sounding hearing aid in my opinion. The clarity is amazing. Hearing people behind you in another aisle, not even facing you, it is crazy. The microphone directionality feature with the app is great. You have so much control over the microphones. The WS Audiology hearing aids, the Rextons, the Signias, the True Hearings, they are the only ones that I know of that have my own voice processing, or OVP, own voice processing. This, for those of you that hate the occlusion effect and you hate the way the hearing aids sound, we have people that return hearing aids because they can't stand the way their voice sounds when they talk. It affects people that much. Not me, I don't mind it. Been doing this for years. I've been counseling people through this. But the Rexton Reach, the Signia, all the WS Audiology hearing aids have own voice processing. So you sit down, your fitter will tell you, okay, start counting out loud, and it records your voice, and it applies this algorithm or whatever it does to reduce the volume of your own voice without it affecting other people's speech, without negatively affecting voices that you're trying to hear. It just affects your own voice. It is crazy, and it works, and it helps. It is a really great technology, very innovative. So these hearing aids are great sounding, don't get me wrong. They just need Auracast. That's it. So I don't want to beat up on Rexton. They are great sounding hearing aids. You guys keep asking me, well, can you do a comparison video between the Costco hearing aids? Yes, I'm working on it. I have no time. I have, I moved into this new house. I've got 2 kids, and they needed a bigger house, and I have to work 2 jobs, plus YouTube. I have no time to make these videos, but I'm working on it. Guys, I know I always say this in like every video, but it's true. I am so burnt out. YouTube has been my dream. I started this channel to help folks, especially the members, since we don't have all the time in the world to explain everything. I started out with a couple videos here and there, and it turned into this, and I fell in love with YouTube. I fell in love with reading the comments, and some of you guys leave such amazing comments. Brian, you help us so much. You explain things. You're down to earth. You don't seem like some big production that's getting paid by all these big companies, and we just thank you. And I get so many of these just awesome comments, and I love them so much. And I love helping you guys. It is so fulfilling to me. That's why I got into the hearing aid that's a lie. I got into the hearing aid business because my ex-wife's family owned a bunch of bell tones, and hey, it was a job. They got me in, but I did fall in love with it, being able to help the folks hear again. And some folks start breaking down and crying because they're so happy they can hear again, and it's such a great thing to experience. And I know this video was like all over the place. I went back and cut this so many times. I keep stopping and I gotta change this, and then I'll start recording again and splicing this and adding that. I repeated myself on this, I repeated myself on that. Finally, I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna put it out. I do have 2 jobs, guys. I work at Costco, and then on my days off, I work from home, and I try to fit in YouTube somehow and try to see my kids every week. And it is it's killing me. Something has to change, but I wanted to apologize for this sporadic video. This isn't my normal style. I try to stick to a script, but it's just been really hard. It is 2 o'clock in the morning right now. I've got to get up at 6 to go to work. It's just so much, and it's stressing me out so much. Some of you guys donate $5-10 here and there, and it does help, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I've just kind of been waiting for the videos to just take off, and I just had this grand plan after I got going pretty good, got some momentum. I thought that I might be rich someday, and then I can stop working at Costco, and I could stop having 2 jobs, and I could spend all the time with the kids that I want, and I just keep driving and trying to do that, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So just wanted to explain that. Apologize again. Maybe something will change, and I'll be able to spend more time on videos and make it a lot more streamlined and nice, and not so damn crazy. All right, so just wanted to say that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I love every single one of you. Thank you for all those that have supported me so far, and I'll try the best I can to keep putting stuff out. All right, bye, guys.